All right. Now the question was, or is, now which tests were they? 7 and 8. Okay. So I'm going to go to Blackboard. There it is. And get in the right class. That's not the right class. Okay. And that's not the right class. That's what I was working on before. And let's go down to, here we go. Okay, I hope I posted them. I'm going to first look in messages because it's right there. Okay, I've got a message from Amia, Rodrigo, Amia. I think I've answered some of those. Angelita, ooh, I've got a lot to answer, don't I? Okay. Okay. There's lab 13, 12. Okay. That's a response. Okay. The third test. Now, which one did you say?
7 and 8.
Test 7 and 8?
Yes.
Okay, no, we only have 6 tests. Suddenly, now it dawns on me. Okay, we only have 6 tests. Yeah, right. Okay. Now there.
There's a tab that says Chapter 8 test, so I thought there was 8 tests.
No, there's a Chapter 8 test, right. Okay, there is no Chapter 7 test, and there's no Chapter 6 test, because we did Chapters 1, 2, 3, oops, let me get Tobias in here. Let me get them marked in the book too. Okay, Tobias is here. Okay, we did Chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. So, yeah, okay. My Physical Science 111 class had 9 tests, and that's why it made sense for me to be looking for a 7 and, whatever you said. But then it suddenly dawned on me, wait, this isn't 111, this is 112. So, as you can tell, I have a lot of messages to answer. So, and I may do some of that during class today. But let me go on and get out of the messages. It's so embarrassing to look at. Oops, that took me completely out. Okay, so that answered your question.
So there's only 1 through 6?
Yes, tests 1 through 6, chapters 1 through 4, 6, and 8.
Okay.
Right.
I'll turn them in then, because I thought there was 2 more tests. That's why I didn't turn my test in. I wanted to turn them on in at the same time.
Okay, that's not what I wanted you to do. I wanted you to throw them in as you finished them, but that's fine. Get them into me as soon as you can. As you can. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Great question. Okay, I can barely hear you, but go ahead. Okay. Okay, could you wait just a minute? Let me get Amia in while I see her name here. I'm afraid I'll lose her if I don't. So Amia's here. Okay. Now, I'm sort of one-track mind, so sorry about that. Go ahead with your question. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, I was suddenly in chat mode, and I don't know how I got there. Okay. Now, you said your Blackboard app isn't accepting the pictures, or Blackboard isn't accepting them? Okay. Yeah, now I don't know much about Blackboard's app, and I'll share something with you that probably Dr. James does not want me to share, but I find Blackboard very, okay, let me back off a little bit. When, yeah, I will, but I'm going to give you a context here. you know, box stores were the big thing, okay? And then these young upstarts came in and started doing business online. And for a long time, they made no money at all, Amazon being one of them, and others like that. But after a while, they got really, really good at it and started taking away business from the box stores. Well, the box stores decided, well, we need to get online too. And my wife just griped and complained like crazy that the box store apps turned out to be so kludgy and so, you know, almost like a box store. You know, they just did not get the online stuff well at all because they were probably using their old guys who didn't know much about the thing. Well, frankly, Blackboard is like that. Blackboard started out as a computer-based, not a device-driven platform. They started off, you know, that you interacted on your computers, on your desktop, not tablets, not phones or anything else. Well, the other things started popping up that were designed from ground up to be mobile. You know, they could do on thing, but they were designed to be mobile. So Blackboard has tried to catch up and become more mobile, and they just haven't done a good job. They're a lot like a box store. From what I understand, theirs is really kludgy, clunky. It just doesn't work as well. And yet the system had we had to sit through 8 plus of the most boring hours I've ever had to sit through. They recorded these things and wanted us to listen to them. They were these 4 companies that were supposed to have 2 hours each to make their spiel to the state of who was going to get the state's contract in doing the course management system. And there were 3 of these were from the ground up, um, um, you know, internet driven, device driven platforms. And you couldn't tell a dime's worth of difference between them, except they were all really good at what they did. And then Blackboard came in, and Blackboard had the most polished presenters, and they did the best job. The other guys were computer geeks. Their language, they just talk in their own language and stuff. Well, Blackboard had really polished presenters that really did a good job presenting, but they never. It took me a while. I was sort of impressed with Blackboard. I said, I didn't think they were that good and stuff. And then suddenly it dawned on me what I wasn't hearing them say. Everything they talked about was all this fancy stuff they had for desktops and even for laptops. They were fine there, but they never really focused on. They had devices, of course they did, but it was that was just sort of thrown in on the side. Excuse me, just a minute. Shay is here. Let me get her marked present. Okay. So I hate to say it, but I'm not surprised you're having trouble with getting Blackboard to accept some things. So if you can't get it through Blackboard, send me an email, because the email I think will usually accept the pictures and stuff like that too. Now other people have sent me pictures too, so if those listening know how to do this in a better way, because I can't help you in it. I'm a dinosaur myself. Okay, so I my wife is my IT person. She's almost 7 years younger than me, and she just is enough in the next generation down that she takes care of most of my IT problems. So I can't give you any help with it. But if some of the rest of you can help them with that, please share your techniques to get them done. But if nothing else works, don't waste a lot of time with Blackboard. Send it to me in an email, because I'm checking both of those as you see, I'm behind, really far behind in getting my messages on Blackboard, but I had hoped to be further along than that. But boy, starting yesterday when I was going full time, uh, focusing on well, actually it started Friday after our class Thursday night. I was doing full time trying to catch up on my printing, and every day I would get caught up so far in my printing. And I was getting back, 1 week back, 2 weeks back, and then the next day, well, we were out of town on the weekend. I couldn't do anything on the internet because we were at a place that had really lousy internet. So I was grading papers all over the weekend. But then, starting yesterday, I was again trying to print stuff off and dealing with all the stupid administrative stuff that they started coming out with. So and don't tell the dean that, okay, that I have just been mostly printing. I've had almost no time to actually do any grading. Every now and then I'll slip in a little grading, like last night after supper. I just carried papers down and I decided not to come back up. I'd stay down and pretend to be communicating with my wife, and so I'd sit down there and grade papers when she was doing something else, like on her mobile device or whatever. So I am way behind on grading. I'm still behind on printing because I've had some people turn in basically the entire term, and I'm talking about full term class stuff in the last week. And it's just, I'm just spending all my time printing right now. So I'm getting the printing caught up, and I'm occasionally getting some of the grading caught up, but it will be a little bit before I get my head back above water there. What's that? No, not necessarily. This class, well, this is a mini term class, so it's been a little on the slow side, but I had a, and this never fails, by the way. I had a student that emailed me, and it was sort of a griping and complaining. I've submitted all my work on Blackboard, and I haven't gotten any of the results back yet. Do I need to send them on emails as well? I said, I'm still printing. I gave him basically the same spiel I said you. I'm printing, but I haven't gotten everything printed. Trying to get it printed so I can get, as I said, and some people have been turning in stuff late, so I have a lot more printing than I thought I needed, was going to have to do. And so I left that and went to his class so I could at least show him I was making progress. And the first thing that I came across of his was the first test that I gave back in September, because it's a full term class. He submitted it to December. So he was griping that I hadn't gotten it graded in a week, something that he should have turned in 3 months ago. So that almost always, those who gripe the loudest are usually the ones who are been the most recalcitrant themselves. So I mean, that's a gross generalization, but I wasn't too surprised when I saw it. I went, what? What? I thought he had turned in stuff a long time ago and I just hadn't seen it. And there he turned it in last week and was griping I didn't get it graded in a week, things that he was 3 months behind getting submitted. So I didn't worry too much more about it. So I'm going to, it sounds like I'm really, when I say printing, and you would think, well, you just print. Well, not really. See, I'm in one bedroom here. I have to run a cord in here because this is an old house built in 1930. It doesn't have three-prong plugs much upstairs. So I have to run an extension cord from the bathroom in here just to run things here, the computer, for instance. But the printer, I don't have so many plugs here. I don't have a desk to put it on. So the computer is on the bedroom, in the bedroom across the hall from me. So I have to have it wireless. Well, wireless printers are great, especially if you can be anywhere in the house and send things to them, but they're also very slow. And So I just cannot print things rapidly. It's not like I'm hardwired to the printer. I just say print and it prints. It's always a delay. And then with all the different platforms that students use, some things like pictures take a little longer to print than say a Word file. But then people who have written on a piece of paper, which is fine, that takes a little bit. I mean, everything seems to take longer, and I'm sorry it does. So it's been a very slow progress getting caught up on the printing. So sorry, that was way more of a longer answer than what your question deserved, but anyway, that's what we got. So I'm still printing. Did that even answer your question? I talked so long I don't remember what your question was. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. If you can't get it to work through Blackboard, go on and email it to me. That will work. And I'm sorry that Blackboard is such a pain in the neck. Believe me, it is for us too. It's just a ridiculously clunky program. And because they had such slick presenters, the state gave them the contract. So, you know, retirement is looking better all the time. So, anyway, say again. Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I say in jest that in the next life I'm going to come back as a slick salesman for the 2-year college system, because if you make a slick presentation, they're going to swallow it hook, line, and sinker, no matter what kind of garbage you're selling. I mean, it's. I think that's what weapons contractors do for the U.S. government too. I agree with you 100%. Oh yes, exactly. All right. Any others? Okay. The main thing I want done today is for me to answer all your questions from every chapter we did. Again, chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. Any labs that you're behind on, if you have questions on those. Any tests. Now, of course, I'm not going to give you, uh, if I get this question, what's the answer for number 7 on test 3? I'm going to say, well, that's why I ask you. Okay. But if you can say, I mean, if the question is, what is this meaning? What is it looking for? Then I can do a lot better job of answering that question. I'm not going to answer any of the questions from a test. Now, labs I can be a lot freer with because we did them in class together, and y'all can actually work with each other on that as well. And that's why I have the platform up here so that y'all can do that as well. So that's the main thing I want. Let me ask a few questions first. Have all who are here submitted the research papers? Okay. Okay. If you haven't, please get them in today, because I will accept them till 11:59 this evening, and that will count as today. Okay. 12:01 tomorrow morning will not count as today. Any that come in, and they'll have dates, times on them, that come in after today, you'll start losing points. So please get them in today. This is the last day with no penalty to get them in. So please get your research papers in today. Okay. If any of you are behind in labs or tests, please try to get those into me today as well. Now, obviously, I can't grade them all today, so as soon as you can, get them to me. And I'm not penalizing people for being late on those, but just get them to me as soon as you can. Now, before we leave today, I will post the final exam. Now, the final exam, don't sweat it. It's probably going to be the easiest test you've had all term. It's matching. Okay, I think it's 20 questions. On one side has, say again, what you say? Oh, okay. It, the definitions or descriptions or whatever on one side, and then the words that match those on the other side with a blank, and you'll put the letter that goes with this word that's here on this column, uh, the definition and description over here. There are letters over here. The words or the phrases are numbered. You'll put the letter in the blank next to the uh, word that it describes. Okay, so it's a really easy test. I don't think it'll take you. When we were in class, it usually took people 15 to 30 minutes. So it's a really easy test. So don't sweat. I still got the final to do. You'll find it's really easy to do. Okay, and I think there's 20 questions on it, something around that. So um, now, any other questions, issues, concerns, problems? I know that last lab we used material from the book, so I have my diskette out there, CD or DVD loaded, so if you do need to see any of the slides from any of the chapters, I'll be glad to post those. I can post them from any chapter, and also we can link to the VET, the virtual labs, and go to any of those that you need to. So let me know if you need any of that. It's pretty easy to get that done. Now, one other question I have for you. Are any of you graduating this term? Okay, Amia is? Okay. I will try to work on your stuff first, but frankly, here's the other thing. If you're behind in anything, please get me everything in, if you can, by tomorrow. I don't know, have you heard in any of the meetings or other things when your grades are due? Okay. I don't think it really matters. Because it's a virtual graduation anyway, isn't it? So you're not going to be getting a diploma. You're not going to be getting anything. It's just basically a ceremony. And if things aren't in, it's not going to change the ceremony one bit. But um, when sometime next month, when they mail out the actual diplomas, whatever, certificates, whatever they mail out, that you won't get one if things haven't been turned in. Um, so my advice to you is just get me into me whatever you may be missing, including the final exam, if possible by tomorrow, and I will be working like crazy because I've got other students. I'm teaching, unfortunately, 7 classes right now. What had 8 classes this term, but one was a mini term 1 class, and it was just unbelievable how many of those students didn't get me everything in by the end of class. Of course, they weren't graduating until now, and now some of them are really anxious to get stuff into me, but I think just about every one of them has, most of them, the vast majority, have gotten me everything. So I'm not having to worry about them, but please get me as much as you can by tomorrow that you can. And if you can't get me everything, get me stuff on Thursday and Friday as well. Now, for all of you, grades are due in, I think it's Tuesday at noon. And I have a little bit of a problem with that, in that I just had well, 2 little problems. One is I have a doctor's appointment Friday, which is going to knock out part of my time that I would be grading and stuff, but it's going to be a telemedicine thing, so it won't take, I hope, a lot of time. I don't have to go somewhere and then drive back and that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's going to take that long, but I will be out of the pocket a little bit Friday morning. I don't remember the time. It seems like it's either 9 something or 10 something. My wife has it written down somewhere. She's also my social secretary. But she has that kind of stuff on her phone or somewhere that she can always tell me. And then on Tuesday, I've got to go in for blood work Tuesday morning for my hematology visit. The first one is just my internal medicine. That's my annual physical. I've already had the blood work done for that, but I've got to go in for blood work for my hematologist Tuesday morning. I'll try to get there as early as I can to avoid any more people than I have to interact with. So last time I was left here by 6:30 and was there before 7, or right around 7, and was able to get in. But it was Monday. Because of the anemia, they're doing blood every week now for a while. So Monday was not a good day to go because it seemed like everybody went Monday morning trying to avoid the rush. So there was a rush. But then after I get back from the doctor's appointment on Tuesday, for the blood work on Tuesday morning, I have the telemedicine thing with him. It was scheduled for 11 something, but the nurse, when I talked with her today, she said it might be moved to the afternoon, which will be great for me because that means I can have more time to get your grades in on time. But on the other hand, I'm supposed to be advising students Tuesday afternoon, but so far I don't think any student has signed up for an advising all term long. I don't know what the deal is, but watch them all sign up on Tuesday though. I've got 6 hours Monday and 6 hours Tuesday that I'm supposed to be advising. So that's eating a big hole in my grading. So I'm trying to get everything done that I can before the weekend. By the weekend. Okay, I'm talking way too much. Any questions, issues, problems, labs, test, anything you want me to check and make sure that I've received? I'll be glad to go through all that as well. Okay, what did you say about lab 7 and 8? Okay. Okay, so do you know where to find labs? Okay, then let's see. Okay, I'm going to take you to Blackboard. Okay, I know you can't see that now. Okay, let me see if I can get Blackboard to open. Well, why? Oh, there it goes. Okay, there we go. All right, here's our course in Blackboard. Now I'm going to move this toolbar. You can't see it, but it blocks my vision. And you can't see this either, but your names are over here on the right, so I got to move you over. And now I'm going to open Blackboard. Okay, now here comes Thomas. I thought Thomas was already in here, but evidently he had to bump out and come back. So Thomas is back. Welcome back, Thomas. Let me go check before I get any further here and make sure that I have 8 people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I've got everybody here. Okay, now, which 2 labs did you say it was? 7 and 8. Okay, now do you remember what week we did those? I'm going to guess maybe around week 4. I'm going to start there anyway. Okay, do you see what I'm doing on Blackboard? I went to the weekly activities and opened it, and then I went to week 4. And there's lab 6 is listed here, but it's not there. So what you can do is go to instructional materials for that week. And I'll tell you why, because we usually did, wait, let me think. We did lab 1 the first week, 2, 3 the second week, 4, 5 the 6th week, the 3rd week, and 6, 7 the 4th week. So that's where we are. So if you go here to lab 6, click on that. Okay, you can't see the lab here. Okay, sorry, I was afraid of that. I clicked on the wrong tab. You go to instructional materials. I thought that where my cursor was, but it wasn't. Instructional materials. Okay, now here is lab 6 right here. PHS112 L6, that's mean lab 6. That's the data sheet that you will fill out and complete. Here is that link, the web link to the simulator. Okay, that's what you'll click on for that. Now I'm going to open both of these for right now. Okay, so I'm first going to open this one. Well, okay, I tell you what, I'm not going to. Here's how you would open it. You go to the 3 dots here. They call it an elliptical. I don't know, that's a stupid name for it. But you go to the 3 dots here and it says download original file. Sometimes that takes a while, so I'm going to go, you can't do this, but I can. Oh, you want to 7, didn't you? Okay, same thing, sorry. 7, you go to these 3 dots, click on that, and it says download original file. Rather than doing that, I'm going to go to my, where I get them from, my flash drive, and I'm going to have to move y'all for a moment because y'all are in the way. Okay. Well, there we go. Okay. Physical Science 112. In which you say lab 7. Okay. I think that's it right there. Now, I'll probably lose you here for a moment. Yeah, screen sharing has stopped. So I'm going to bring you back in. Is that the lab you're missing, the pendulum lab? Yes or no? Okay, that's it. Okay. Now, that's what you'll fill out. Now, I'm going to go back to, and you can open that through that instructional materials under lab, what was it, week 4. Okay. Now I'm going back to this document. This is the PowerPoint. This is the Blackboard. And there's the link. All you have to do is click on the link. Now 1 week, I put the wrong thing there. I just copied the link rather than, well, you know how to fiddle with it. Here's simulations under physics, and if you help me remember, it was the pendulum lab, right? So you scroll down here till you find the pendulum lab. There's a lot of them out here. Okay, we're getting close. They're alphabetical pretty much. We're close. There it is. There's the pendulum lab. So that's the one you open. Okay, and you open it by clicking on the triangle in the circle here. Can you see that? Okay. Okay. So all the directions for it, pretty much everything you need is in that sheet that I showed you under instructional materials and here. Okay. Now, this is just part of it. But when you click on that, sometimes it takes a little while for this to open. And I think all we did was the intro part. So click on the intro. And then the sheet tells you what things to click on from here. Now I think I can't see it well, so I'm going to move y'all over here now. And it'll tell you to, it tells you all the steps to do. Okay, now there's that. But let me also tell you this, okay? Let's go back to Blackboard. Let's see if Blackboard's still out here. Okay. I don't see Blackboard anymore. Okay. Why they disappear, we have all this other junk here that I never use, and yet the Blackboard thing has disappeared. So let me close this, go back to Blackboard. Okay. Now what, I've got to move y'all again. Sorry about this. Y'all are getting dizzy moving all the time. Okay. If you go back to it, here, I want to show you here under week 4, I believe this is, recorded lectures. Please see the YouTube video playlist link given in week 1. So if you go out of this and go back to, if you need to, you can close that. Otherwise, you can just scroll up here to week 1, open week 1, okay, and under instructional materials there, okay, my things keeps making noise. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, here is recorded lectures. This is the link that goes to the YouTube video playlist. Okay, if you go to that playlist, I'm going to have to move y'all again. Sorry about this. For right now, I'll move you over there. Go to the video playlist. There was the syllabus, that first day of class, second day of class, third day of class, fourth day of class, fifth day of class, sixth day of class, seventh day of class. It goes on like that for a while, but it does mess up somewhere. Here is the class that we did Lab 7. In fact, this was one. For some reason, it shut me down at the end of class, and I had to do a new one for the lab. So this was all one day of class. But this is the class that we did Lab 7. Okay? So I'm going to click on this. And this is another kludgy thing. Okay. Now, unfortunately, you have to listen to me talk, but you can, okay. I'm going to move this somewhere up here maybe. Okay. Yeah, here we go. You can do, okay, here. You can take this thing and move it, I think. Well, I thought you could. Okay. Well, you can just do it this way. Yeah. Well, you should be able to drag. Okay. Why can I not move that thing?
And let's talk about winding up.
Okay. Okay. I hope you don't have to listen to the whole thing, but what you can do, if you can figure out a way to make this move more quickly, maybe stop it. Okay. Say again? I still can't hear you. Times 2 speed? Exactly. If you can figure out how to do it. I thought that's what this did. The what? The deer? Where is that? To the right? Oh, that one? Oh, you said cog. Okay. Ah, playback speed. You got it. 2. I guess that's the best I can do. Okay. And then start again. Okay, where do you do that? Back here? Second? Boy, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Is there a way to go any faster? See, I thought we could drag this thing to the right. Second, I can't hear. Okay, well, there's this guy talking in the background. I can't get him to shut up. But if you can figure out a way to make it move, get it up here somewhere about 2/3 of the way out, and you'll be in the lab. When you're in the lab, you can watch us do the lab. You can hear us do the lab. You'll hear people answer questions. You'll see the entire lab right there. Okay? Okay, say that again. Where? Right here? Ah, there we go. That's the one. There we go. Okay, that's how you do it. I'm glad y'all people know what you're doing. Okay. Somewhere out here, for some reason, I'm in chapter 8, lab 13. How did I get there? Oh, yeah, let's go back to, okay. I was going to say, what was I talking about? Okay, this was the one I needed to be in. Okay. Now, I think I'll get out of this because I don't like listening to him talk. Okay, playback speed. Let's do normal. Oh, that's a little better. Okay, here's the one. Take this, drag it over here until we get to the lab. Come on, somewhere here we get to the lab. I know we do.
Just go a little further back and let it go.
Okay.
You went to the next video now.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I did. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's try that again. Y'all can do this better and faster than I can. Okay, there's 2 hours. It's about 2.5 hours in.
Somewhere around there.
Second,
Just let it go.
let it go. Oh, there it is. You're right.
So now you're probably gonna have to pick up just a little.
Yeah,
You'll be good.
yeah. You see, there's a lab that. Oh, there. Oops. Oh, no, no. Ah, this is just about where you'll hear me do all the same stuff I just did.
Should be good right there.
Yeah, right in there. Okay. Okay. And here's what I was doing before, telling you how to get to all the things. So, um, so you're asking about lab 7 and which 8? Is that right? Okay. This is the one you go through for lab 8. And now if you're doing it through the, on PowerPoint, see, yeah, I love Blackboard. Okay, you can tell. Okay. Lab 8 is right here in this YouTube video. And you'll have to do the same thing. It's always about 2.5 hours in. That's where you do. And whoever it was, Daniel or whoever was coaching me how to do that other thing. So you don't have to sit and listen to the whole thing. You can move it. Let me go back to Blackboard now. Okay, if I can find Blackboard again. I don't know why Blackboard keeps disappearing. Okay. 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 And it went right back to the very beginning. I didn't even have this one open. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. So I'm closing week 1, but that's where you go. Week 1 is where you go to get the YouTube video, because every week will say, for YouTube video, see week 1. Okay, that's where you'll go for that link. Week 5 would be where your lab 8 is. Now, again, it says lab 8 here. I'm just going to show it to you. I would have loaded lab 8 here, but whoever set up this thing didn't leave me a plus sign. The plus sign, again, kludgy stuff that Blackboard has. If you leave that out, you can't use to build your assignment. And so, again, you go to, that's not going to be helpful to you. So I'm just showing you that. Go to instructional materials. That's where we are. You see, I'm almost the same place there. I don't know why this is still talking in the background, but there's lab 8 right there. Now this is really lab 8. This one's lab 9. It says lab 8. Let me just check on it. See, that's lab 8 new. The old lab 8 became our lab 9. So this is the one you'll pull up. Wait, I'm sorry. You'll pull it up here. Download original file. I'm going to do it through my drive because it's so much faster. I thought it would be faster. I thought this was, oh, I know, I should have gone here. Okay. Okay. And remember, one of those said lab 8 new and the other one said lab 8. I'm pretty sure this is the true lab 8. Yeah, that's lab 8, and that's the one you need. And you know where to go to get it. Okay? You go here, you use PHET. This one you look for energy forms and changes. Oops, I'm sorry. I don't have this open. Okay. All right. You go to, this is the lab 8 we did this year. Lab energy forms and changes. You go to PHET, the same place, the link for your virtual labs, and this tells you all how you have to get there and what you do, and go from there. Is this enough, or do you need me to actually go with you through it all? Let me see if I can get this guy to shut up. Okay, hold on just a minute. Oh, I know what I can do, where I can do this. That's the one, I think. Let me shut this guy up if I can. Okay. How do I get him to be quiet? There. There. Okay. No, he's still talking. Let me. Yeah. Well, here, I'm going to shut it up. Well, I thought I was. Huh? Okay, good. Good move. Okay. Now, I know that was a lot of mess. Did that indicate to you how to get your labs? The actual, you get them through the week when they were offered, and you go to instructional materials to get that, to find that out. And like I showed, let me go back down here. Okay. Like I was, ooh, goodness gracious, where'd that come from? Okay. I don't know why that even came up. This is okay, here we go. Now again, you'll open this through the instructional materials. I'm opening it here. Here was that one that said Lab 8. Remember, there was a Lab 8 new, and there was other that said Lab 8, and I said this is really Lab 9. And if you open that, you'll see that's Lab 9, and that's the Ohm's Law lab. So that's why I said pay attention to what's on the lab, not what the label is on the name, because whatever, but you didn't need that one. But that's why I said do the Lab 8 new. Oh, you can't see that. Okay. Yeah. The one that said Lab 8 is really Lab 9. One that said Lab 8N, that's the new Lab 8. So that's, it bumped up the old one to be a 9 then. Okay, was that confusing enough? You had a very simple question and it turned out to be a very complicated answer. But you see how to maneuver to get whatever you need. Okay, go to Blackboard, whichever week it was given in, and most of the time it's pretty clear. I'll just go over that again. In week 1, we only did one lab. Okay, lab 1. In week 2, we did 2 and 3. Week 3, we did 4 and 5. Okay, week 4, we did 6 and 7. Week 5, we did 8 and 9. Week 6, we did 10 and 11, and week 7 we did 12 and 13. So that's how the labs match up with the weeks. So, but I mean, all you have to do is play around with it, look at it, look under the instructional materials, and you'll see kind of the lab numbers according to what's on the lab outlines there. Okay, that's where you'll get the lab sheets, and that's where you'll have the link to go to the FET. Okay, and then if you really want to hear us do the lab, go to week 1 instructional materials and do the YouTube video link, and you can operate that much more smoothly than I did. Okay, because you know how to run that kind of stuff. Okay, is that enough, or will you want a little bit more? Okay, it's probably more than enough. You're trying to get me to shut up. Okay, good deal. All right, any other questions?
Where's the final exam going to be posted?
As soon as, in fact, I can post it right now if you want me to, but I wanted to make sure that I got all the questions answered first. I was going to do it right after class today, but I can do it right now if you want me to.
Where's it going to be on?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Let me go on and post it then. Okay. Let me see if I can find. I think that's Blackboard. No, that's YouTube video. I'm going to close that so I don't have to listen to myself talk anymore. Okay. I don't think I need the pendulum lab anymore. I'm going to close that too. Okay, I'm in Blackboard now. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to the home page of Blackboard. Well, the content page of Blackboard. Okay, I'm going to move y'all out of the way. I guess I'll move you to this side. You can't see this, but y'all block my access to moving things around. Okay, now down here is one place. It says exams, midterm, and final. You can click either here or here, and that opens that up. There's not much here, There's a thing, video on introduction to ProctorU. I'm not using ProctorU. From everything I've heard, it's a pain in the neck. What do y'all feel about it? Have y'all used ProctorU? Okay. um, so, but here you see final exam. So I'm going to click on final exam here. Okay. It opens up, and looky here, they don't have a plus sign. So I can't post the final exam here. So that's a no-go. Some of my classes, they'll have it there, some they do not. So I'm trying to get out of final exam here, but it won't close. Okay, there we go. So what I'm going to go is go back up to the top here, and there's our good old messages. Okay, and I'm going to add a new message. Y'all do this all the time when you're sending stuff to me. I'm going to send it to all of you, all course members. Okay, I'm going to attach a file. That's that little plus, and it's going to be a local file. Okay, now I've got y'all in the way again, so let me find some place to move you. I'll move you to the bottom now. Okay, and for some reason now it went to course sequencing guides. I don't know why this goes to all the crazy places it does. Well, that didn't work. Let me try that again. Okay. Okay, back to physical science. I can't see if it's doing physical science 111. Okay. Here's the final exam. I'm pretty sure this is the one I want. This is the Word document. There's the Word Perfect document. That won't be any good for you. I think it's this one, but before we go there, I think I want to cancel here, because there, I think that's safe. Let me just do that. Final exam. Okay, I'll save it. Okay, and then I'll do okay, there it is, and I'll send it. I'll find out later if this is a smart move or not. I'm pretty sure it is. Now, I've got all these messages in here to me. You won't have those. You may have a few, but not many. So I'm going to have to scroll down here and see if I can find it. There's a Chapter 8 test. Okay. I can't see. Can y'all see this? I'm going to move y'all again. Yeah, y'all can see it. Okay, there's the test 5. There's the lab 12. Where in the world is the final now? There's the final exam right at the bottom of this. Okay, and if you want to click on it, you click on my name here. I think this is how it looks on yours. And when you click on that, you'll get this that I just sent. It's from me to all of you, and that's it. You'll click on that, and it says download original file, and it'll open the final exam. Okay, so it's there under Blackboard messages. And you won't have as many messages as I do. You'll basically have some of the labs, you'll have some of the tests. Those will be the thing, most of the things you got in the messages. Unless y'all been sending messages back and forth to each other, then you may have a bunch of those. And it may be that I've sent you a few messages, and just you individually, and if you haven't deleted those, they may be clogging it up. But I don't usually delete them until I make sure I get everything printed off of them. Okay, does that answer the question of where to find the final exam? Blackboard messages, yes.
Yes. And so we only had 6 tests, right?
Yes, okay. let me go over this quickly. We've had 13 labs. Okay, I'll drop your lowest lab score, so that will give me an average of, I'll keep the highest 12 labs that you have, and that will be your lab average. Okay, I'll average those together in Blackboard. Okay, you'll see a column there that says lab or LA or lab average or something like that. You'll see the individual labs, and then you'll see a column at the end of that. It's not there now, but it will be, and it'll say either LA or lab average or something like that. Okay, that'll be your lab average. It'll be something hopefully close to 25 points because that's what the labs are worth. Okay, then you have research paper. It may just say paper or something like that. That's what it is. That cannot be dropped. So if you have it turn in a research paper, that's going to be a 0. You don't want a 0. So get me your research paper turned in. That's why I've been harping on that all term long, or all mini term long. Okay. Then you'll have the 6 tests. You're absolutely right. The Chapter 1 test, Chapter 2 test, Chapter 3 test, Chapter 4 test, Chapter 6 test, and Chapter 8 tests. Those are your 6 tests. I will drop the lowest one of those if it helps your average. Okay? If you got a 0 on the research paper, a really low score on the research paper, or say on the final exam or something, I'll need to keep as many of those tests as possible to pull that up. Okay? But if you have a low test score, or you missed a test and you want that to be the one you dropped, I'll drop your lowest test score. The final exam that I just posted out there, that cannot be dropped. You don't want that to drop. That's probably going to be one of the highest scores you have. So yeah, you take your time with that. It won't take you long. You'll be able to get a good score on that, I think. Okay, and then I'll average those research paper, your top 5 tests, or 6 if you need it, and your final exam, average those together, and that will, I think the column will say test average or something like that. It's not there now. I haven't done that yet. Okay, and then I will take 75% of your test average, add it to the 25 or so that you got from your lab average. That's going to be your final grade. And so you have another column that will say final grade. In fact, I think, now that I think back about it, your test average will be out of 100. And then I'll have to manually, because Blackboard does a terrible job of this. Again, it's a clunky program. I manually do 25% of your test average, 75% of your test average, add to it your lab average, and that gives you your final grade. So that will be final average. I think it's what the next column is called. There is no place in there for me to put final grade. The old Blackboard, I could do that. This new Blackboard will not let you put a letter grade in, that I've been able to figure out how to do it. It's just such a clunky system. So you won't see a letter grade there, but you'll see your final average. And it's nowhere close to there now. Right now I don't have all the tests in. I don't have all the labs in. I have very little in. Because, frankly, most of this mini-term I have been, well, the whole mini-term I've been anemic. Okay? I kind of knew that. I've been that pretty much ever since I started getting treatments. But in the last month, from the middle of October, which was a week or two after the mini-term started, until the middle of November, which was just not long ago, I have been critically anemic, and I have just had almost zero energy. So I've just been struggling just to teach the classes, and I'm way behind on printing and grading. So I'm going to try to get those caught up this week. I think I told you all before, a couple weeks ago, they gave me 2 pints of blood. I didn't know I was that anemic, and still I'm anemic. So, but all the counts are going in the right direction now. So the doctor's happy, his nurse was happy. I'll see him next Tuesday and find out how happy he still is. Okay, but I don't think I'll need anything else before Christmas. Sometime in the new year, I'll probably have to worry with something else there. But that's my excuse. It's probably my poor planning is really what's going on here, but that's my excuse why I'm so stinking far behind in printing and grading. I'll try to get those done. All right. That was my sad, sad song. You heard the violin music in the background, didn't you? Okay, good. Any other questions, issues, concerns? I'll be glad to try to field them. And I hope I didn't put off Tobias in his question. If you were really looking for me to help you walk through that, I can do it. But I wanted to show you how to do it in case we didn't have time to do all of that today. I wanted to show you how to do it. And if we need to go back, I'll be glad to go back and walk you through at least part of it. And then you can use the YouTube video and everything else to do the rest of it. So, any other questions? Say that one more time. Check my email, is that what you said? Okay, my hearing is so bad, that's why I'm asking. Okay, let me move y'all out of the way because I can't see what's in my email here. I'll move y'all over here now. Okay, and what you want me to look for? That you just did recently? Okay, it's not at the top. Let me see. Mr. Jacob, huh? That's you. There's test 5, test 3, and research paper. Anything else I should see? Okay, let me just make sure I trying to see that one. This one I see an attachment. These two I don't, but that may be there. Are they the text of the email? The only reason I don't want to open them is you got your answers there, and I don't want other people seeing your answers. Okay, are they just the whole email? Pictures. Okay, and this is your actual research paper. Yeah, that's an attachment. I can see that. So the others weren't attached. They were just, that is the text of the email, right? Okay, right. All right, then I should have those. All right, anyone else need me to check anything? I'll be glad to do it. Now, I see Diana has something here, but she's not in this class. She was in my freshman. No, she is in this class, but she's not here today. Okay. But she's also in a math class of mine. Oh no, this is all physical science here. So she sent some stuff in. Okay. All right. Any others? All right. I now see something that I didn't see before. This is something I've got to get to my wife, so I'll get that done later. Okay. All right. Any other questions, issues, concerns, problems? Email, lab, test, research paper? Any questions on anything? Jacob, how do you pronounce your middle name? Semaj? Oh, how do you say it? Huh? Samaj. Okay. The accent on the second syllable. Okay. Samaj. Oh, I see. Okay. Was that your dad's idea? Oh, right. Uh-huh. Okay. That sort of makes me think my wife's um, father was William Lawrence, but he goes by Larry. His son was William Keith. He goes by Keith. And then his older son is William Dan, and he goes by Dan. So they did the same thing, only it was their first name. They all have the first name of William, but no one uses it. And so yours did that. So that's interesting. I heard of families doing sort of that kind of stuff before. Um, so it was such an unusual name, but now that you tell me, I see it perfectly. That's, uh, yeah, good deal. Okay. Yes, you don't anger a woman going into labor, so okay. She can get at you all sorts of ways. Okay. All right. Any other issues, problems, concerns, anything you want to bring up at all? Okay. I can keep the this open, um, the what do you call it? Zoom open for anyone who may come in late or have something else. If you want to go out and come back, I can keep it open. I'm trying to think if I can shut down the visual of it. Oh yeah, I know what I can do. I Yeah, I can just have an innocuous thing out there, and then when people come in, I can see when they come in, and but I can be working on other things so I can get more stuff graded. If you don't have any questions, but if you do have questions, that's what I'm here for, to answer questions. Let me ask one more question. How many of you done your student course evaluations? I take that not to be too many, okay? Please do those. And I'm guessing since you had a second mini-term class, you may have also had a first mini-term class. If you did, those are open at the same time. They did not open the first mini-term classes when they should have. That was before the end of the first mini-term. And again, this banner, this new course management system that we have, or whatever you call it, that has been a pain in the neck to everybody, and I think that it did not interact well with the Smarty Valves, which is the package that we use for the evaluations, and they just, like in the last 2 weeks, were able to get that to work. So that's why they're so late getting that open. So please do your student course evaluations for all the courses you've taken this term, including the first mini-term. And also there may be scattered in there a few other things like the library services. I don't know if they have cafeteria services, physical plant service. I mean, they have a whole bunch of other little surveys that are scattered among the student course surveys. Please do them all, because we get feedback from you all the time. Really regret I haven't gotten to meet you. Y'all sound like such an interesting group. But we didn't get to meet. Now, a couple of you, it seems like no, I don't think I got to meet any of you. Y'all were all either summer or fall. I don't think any of you were also in a class of mine in the spring before we got shut down. I think some of you may have been spring, but it was second mini term. I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, I wish I'd gotten to know you. Y'all sound like a fun group. But still, I at least get feedback from you some way or another. But these other places like registrar's office or bookstore or something like that, they don't get much feedback from you because they have everybody in there, in and out and stuff. So if you have good things to say or bad things to say or improvement things, that's what we want the student course evaluations. We instructors, we value them like crazy. I, as a department chair, value them like crazy because I use them when I'm evaluating my instructors. So please do the student course evaluations. They are most helpful to us as a college. And if you feel like something's happened to you that you didn't feel like it was right, please let us know. Then it won't happen maybe next term to either you or somebody else. So do your part to help somebody else's life be a little bit better. Okay? Any other questions, issues, concerns, problems? All right. Now, do you want me to leave Zoom open? And if you need to talk with me, then probably, I'm trying to think, yeah, I'll be able to hear you, but you won't be able to see what I'm working on, okay? So I guess you'll just see that innocuous first screen with the gallery view or whatever it is that you see before I bring on screen sharing. So if that's okay, that's what I'll go back to. Any questions? So let's see what the screen share will be. Tell you what it can be. I guess it can just be the whiteboard, can it? Okay. That's a whiteboard, isn't it? Okay. And if any of you go out or come in, I'll see that pop up somewhere here. There is something you can't see, but a taskbar at the top that may block you, so I'm going to try to move that out of the way. Now, we're about 2 hours and 15 minutes into the deal here. I'd just as soon take a bladder break, and then we'll come back and I will be, oh, yeah, I am recording this. I'm going to stop the record or pause the recording for now. And by the way, I'll probably keep the recording paused until someone has a question. So if you do have a question, please I'm going to click here to pause, and if you do have a question, be sure to tell me to unpause it unless it's something you don't want anyone else to hear, okay? All right, so let me take a quick bladder break and I'll be right back, okay? All right, I don't know if you can hear me or not, or if you want to hear me or not. I'm going to, I think probably just minimize this thing with the Screencast-O-Matic. And what I'm going to do, I shouldn't have even paused it. Does anyone have a question, issue, anything come up in your mind while I was gone? Okay, I'm going to pause the recording again. All right, the question just was, how do you submit? And the question was specifically about the final exam. But this will go for any of your tests and about half your labs. The first part will go for everything that you're submitting. If you want to submit it as an attachment to an email, perfectly fine. If you want to send it as an attachment to a Blackboard message, perfectly fine. And then for about half your labs, the ones that show up under your weekly activities, under those weekly things, if you have a tab there, say for lab 6 or something like that, you can send that lab 6 through that tab under the weekly activities. The final exam has its own tab after the weekly activities. Then there's a tab that says exams, midterm, and final. We didn't have a midterm, so this will just be final. There is a tab there. If you prefer sending them that way, perfectly fine. I'll be checking all the tabs under content. The I can't rem yeah, I have labs under there. I have tests under there. Not all the labs, but some of the labs, about half the labs. All your tests and your final are there under those tabs. Or you can do it through Blackboard Messages. I'll be checking that. Or you can do it through email outside of Blackboard. I'll be checking that as well. All right. Sorry I had to say it twice, but I forgot to turn my recorder back on. Any other questions, issues, problems, things you want to bring up? All right. Again, let me say, please do your student course evaluations, and also I'll say again, I've enjoyed having the class. It's been a fun class. I've enjoyed the interaction. I wish I'd have gotten to know you in person, but with COVID, that wasn't very possible. So, especially with my health condition. So, we'll see. Stay in touch if you'd like. And like I said, in the month of January, if you do want to stay in touch by any means, please email me at my Lawson email address, and I'll give you my Gmail email address. That'll be good after the 1st of February. All right, good deal. Unless there's any other specific questions like that, I'm going to turn off the recorder, or I'll pause the recorder until another good question comes in. Okay, so take care.